Hi, welcome back to Movie Digest. In this video, I'm going to explain the 2023 action movie, titled Equalizer 3. Spoilers ahead. The movie begins in Sicily, where a crime lord named Lorenzo Vitali and his son are heading to his vineyard. Upon their arrival, Vitali finds a slew of dead bodies lying everywhere, and one of his men is anxiously waiting for him. Vitali takes his gun and tells his son to stay in the car. He enters the house and finds more dead bodies before ending up in the basement, where two of his men are holding Robert McCall at their gunpoint. Vitali wonders why he came alone and took everyone, even after knowing how dangerous they were. Vitali then asks McCall what he wants, and he says he is there to take something that doesn't belong to him. When Vitali threatens to kill him, McCall gives him 9 seconds to change his mind before he starts killing those 3 thugs and shoots Vitali. Vitali crawls away, but McCall grabs a shotgun and shoots him in the head. McCall then takes the keys from Vitali's belt and proceeds to the vault to take what he came for. As he walks out with a bag, he finds Vitali's son and warns him to stay in the truck. As McCall walks away, he gets shot by that boy in the back, and McCall spares the boy as he runs away. McCall considers killing himself but couldn't pull the trigger. McCall then takes the ferry to get back to the mainland. He drives long enough until he loses consciousness, losing a lot of blood. An officer named Gio Bonixai finds him, and brings him to a local doctor named Enzo Orizio. Enzo instructs Gio to say that McCall fell if anybody asked. McCall wakes up a few days later, and Enzo wants to know if he saved a good or bad man, but McCall says he is not sure. So Enzo befriends him, and he arranges a place for McCall to stay. McCall learns he is in the town of Altomonte. He tries to lay low in the town, avoiding any attention from cops and running into cameras. He frequently goes to a local cafe, where he befriends a waitress named Amina. McCall finally gets to meet Gio and his daughter Gabby. Gio tells him that all the people around him are good ones, signaling McCall not to hurt anyone. Gio then informs him that he parked his car behind the station, hands him the keys, and tells McCall he hasn't gone through his stuff. Later, McCall calls the CIA and talks to Emma Collins. He informs her of the things he discovered in the Sicilian vineyard and advises her to look into it. Every night, McCall is haunted by the memories of his late friend Susan Plummer, and the thugs he killed in the vineyard. In the market in Altomonte, a thug named Marco Quaranta is antagonizing a fish vendor named Angelo over being unable to keep up with the weekly payment. Marco then thrashed him up before demanding that he should have the money by the next time he shows up. McCall notices Marco and his group as they leave on their bikes. Marco is the brother of Vincent, who runs a mafia group called Camorra that terrorizes Altomonte. Vincent meets a couple and threatens them to sign over their building to him so he can make it a hotel. When the couple refuses to sign, he makes that woman's wheelchair-bound father thrown out of the window, and leaves the corpse hanging to make it as a warning for other residents. McCall goes to Angelo's store to get some fish, but Angelo refuses to take McCall's money since he is a friend of Enzo. Meanwhile, Collins and her partner Frank arrive at the vineyard with their team to find $11 million and a massive stash of drugs. Collins deduces Syria smuggling their drugs to Sicily to supply them to their terrorists. She tells Frank that she got this information from an anonymous call, and she checked the financials to find the drug stash they found is the 4th shipment to Vitali. Frank thinks they should speed up things to keep up with the culprits. Meanwhile, Vincent instructs Marco to take over the entire coast so that they can build their own businesses. That evening, McCall prepares to leave Altomonte, but he hears the bell ringing and everyone is seen running toward Angelo's store, as it has been set on fire. Angelo and his wife can only be held back as they watch the shop go up in flames, and they are devastated since their livelihood is gone. McCall noticed Marco and his gang at a distance and was enjoying while watching the store burn, and McCall decided to stay in Altomonte for a few more days. The following morning, Gio goes through the footage near Angelo's store and finds a van, and attempts to get its information. A few days pass, and everyone gets back to their normal life, and they even start to treat McCall as one of their own. One afternoon, while McCall is at a local restaurant, Collins has located him. But McCall isn't surprised as he was expecting her. She tries to know who he really is, but he won't reveal anything. So Collins says she will keep an eye on him before leaving. That afternoon, Gio arrives at the school to pick up Gabby, but he gets a call informing him they took his daughter. He quickly rushes to his home to find 2 thugs near his dining table, while Marco holds his wife Chiara and Gabby captive. Marco then beats up Gio for his investigation of their van and warns him to stay out of their business. Marco then threatens to kill Gabby if he repeats his mistake. The following morning, McCall meets Collins. She reveals that Vitali has been in Interpol's most wanted list for over a decade, running the cyber empire, siphoning money from offshore accounts, government agencies and pension funds, and the terrorists are using his farm to smuggle drugs to the mainland. Collins then asks why he chose her to share that information. McCall remains silent and wonders why the terrorists are using Sicily to smuggle drugs instead of Elba or Sardinia, since Sicily is the most secure port in the entire region. Colin assures him she will work on it, and he must answer why he chose her. That evening, Gio is having dinner with his family at the restaurant, and Marco arrives a few moments later, and he orders Gio to get him a few boats from Somalis. Marco then notices McCall staring at him, and he goes to McCall to confront him. Marco tells McCall that he should mind his own business, but McCall warns him to do his business somewhere else since he is beginning to like the town and the people. Marco makes fun of him until he grabs Marco's wrist and compresses a nerve in his hand that causes him so much pain. McCall then makes Marco send his men out of there. He then tells Marco to leave his gun on the table and lets him leave. Once outside, Marco plans to kill McCall, but one of his goons gets run over by a van, as McCall has already killed the driver. He kills the last goon by smashing a wine bottle on his head. Marco attacks him with a knife, but McCall breaks his arm and gets him to stab himself to death. Collins gets a call from Frank and learns about the terrorist attack in Rome, and they believe Syrian terrorists did it. Frank reveals that the Syrians are using drug money to make bombs. When Collins wonders why they are using Sicily, Frank suspects someone is operating from the mainland. Collins decides to find some street dealers and grill them for information. Collins visits Chief Barella and asks for permission to interrogate a few dealers. Barella refuses to interrogate a particular man, but Collins is adamant and starts with that man. With that information, they take out a few gang members and arrest some of them. Barella arrives at Vincent's mansion to convey his condolences, and we learn Barella is working for Vincent. Barella reveals in the conversation that Vincent is distributing the drugs across the EU. He also mentions Collins and warns Vincent that she will figure out it's not the terrorists but him. This is where Barella gets angry that Vincent is buying drugs from the enemies to finance his business and enterprises and blames him for the train attack in Rome. Vincent says someone else will get those drugs if he doesn't buy them, and the same people will die. He then orders his men to take care of Collins, and warns Barella to stop talking nonsense as he is still mourning for his brother. Barella gets angry and reminds them he is the head of police, and calls Vincent a barbarian. As a result, Vincent stabs his hand and then has his goon cut Barella's hand off before sending him to the hospital to reattach it. Collins learns about Barella and decides to meet him, since he got some information. Just then, she gets a call from McCall informing her it's the Camorra Mafia, not the terrorists. As she walks towards the car, the bomb explodes and throws her away, but she survives, and is taken to the hospital. Vincent and his men arrive at Altomonte and attack Gio. Vincent threatens to kill him and his family until his brother's murderer shows up. McCall comes out and tells Vincent to take him and to leave everyone else alone. Before Vincent can kill McCall, Enzo fires a rifle of his own. The residents then get their phones out and record the villains, forcing them to flee before the police arrive. Vincent returns to his house and plans to kill McCall and ruin the town the following day. However, later that night, McCall sneaks into Vincent's mansion and starts taking out his men one by one. Vincent wakes up when he finds the blood dripping from the ceiling before the body crashes through the glass. Vincent was shocked and took out his gun to look around the house, only to find all his men were dead until McCall knocked him out. Vincent wakes up to find himself tied up, and McCall reveals that he has given him a lethal dose of the drug, which only gives him 6 minutes before his heart gives up. McCall then frees him, and Vincent leaves the house and runs into the street while McCall slowly walks behind him, and Vincent ends up being hit by a car. He then crawls a little further before he finally takes his last breath. Later, McCall arrives at the hospital to meet Collins. He discloses to her that he traveled to Sicily to recover the pension money of a friend who had been the victim of theft. She is left with the bag of cash by him. Collins goes to Boston and meets the friend of McCall. He and his wife are emotional and grateful that their money has been recovered. When they ask who helped them, Collins doesn't reveal McCall's name. When Collins returns to work, McCall sends her a small black book of all his gatherings and a message saying, "Your mother would be so proud of you." Collins confirms that she is Susan's daughter by looking at a photo on her desk. McCall stays in Altomonte and joins others in enjoying the football team's victory. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this.